CJM is taking the ball. Oh my God! What? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Throwdown OCE Open Series Grand Final and Gauntlet Day. My name is Jake Caserix, Aussie Penko. This is Tom Courier, Lord Sneddon, and David Yummy Cheeseman Lane. We're live at Showdown Studios to find out who will be taking our top cash prize.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money on the agenda today for not just the people that come first, but also those halfway down the ladder.
It feels like just 2 weeks ago that we started this entire tournament.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden we're in the finals. It's been a very quick tournament. Just 1, 2, 3, and now we're done and one face away from the OCE Championship as well.
We've knocked out some pretty big contenders on the way, but it was a close call, and this is the first time that we've seen a top 6 that is so tight.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we saw the top 6 that was so tight was last season, where we had 4 teams tied at the top, but you can see 3 teams each ended up on 10-game wins.
Yeah, and Legacy is the one I would particularly want to look at. They're a team that I expected to be make it all the way to the top, and we can see just how tight it is that they're a team that, whilst could have been top seed, coming in near the bottom.
But such a difficult day ahead for them, and we're asking the question today, who can make that climb? Because for some of these teams, like Lovedex, like Legacy Esports, they've got a long way ahead of them.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a run, having to go through not only the first game, but then have to chase all the way up to the goal and verse Dark Side at the end for whoever it is. It's going to be terrible.
To me, I'm looking at Chiefs with an EI at Dark Side there at the top. But if anyone is really going to make the climb, I think Legacy Esports is another big bet.
Yeah, especially out of the bottom ones. I think Ten of Minds is another one. They've been playing amazingly in the week as they do their practices for this weekend. So I think it's going to be a great series of matches regardless of how it goes down.
And we're changing our format as well. We've gone from series of 3 to now best of 5s and a best of 7 grand final.
Yeah.
More gruesome than ever.
Yeah, and that's a lot of time that these teams are going to be after playing through, especially if you're in that bottom seed, if you're Legacy or Lovedex. If you're doing best of 5, best of 5, best of 5, best of 7, there's a lot of chance to slip up. It only takes 1 loss.
And that's the story of consistency. Throughout league play, it was just trying to find out where people would seed, figure out where they'd come into this gauntlet. Well, now it's best of 5. Now the competition is tight, and it's all going to go down to individual games. It's do or die.
And that league play became so damn important when you see teams like Retirement Home who came through in the end and secured themselves high enough. They guarantee positions the further up they are for a top of $5,000 in this $15,000 prize pool.
And $5,000 for first place. That is what is waiting at the end of this gauntlet. By the end of the day, the champions will be right up there in first place.
Yeah, and after our first game, we'll see one team walking away with 500, but we already know the Dark Side is walking away with at least 3,500 just for securing that second slot.
Always
Both
about
Jam Gaming and Simple Physics, they've already walked away with $500, and the minimum today is $750.
So it is a big prize pool, a big share, and this is a strong placement for all of these teams. We have the OCE Championship coming up next, and this is the off-season, but never before have we seen an off-season like this, Yummy.
It's the biggest off-season prize pool of all time. It's been a huge 3-week blast of let's get into this competition. Let's get these teams ready for RLCS.
And this is the time they really need to be looking forward, because you want to grind out all your different inconsistencies, try out new techniques, try out new rotations now, because you can't afford to do it when you have the big RLCS on the line.
Well, taking a step back, the run will begin for Legacy and for Lovedex as we start that 3-minute throwdown counter. Lovedex and Legacy here today have something to prove, and starting with Legacy, they could make the run.
They could definitely make the run. They've got that opportunity. They're the horse that I've kind of backed despite your doubts over here of that team. But
Sure.
they're a big team coming through. They're all very passionate players, and really a bunch of misfits that kind of came through, a bunch of leftovers of the region.
Yeah, I expected them to do a little bit better, but I think the reason they're coming in 6 shows that consistency is not necessarily their core, because having that 3-0-3-0 last week has really dropped them from potentially top of the ladder all the way to the bottom.
And yeah, they had that 0-6 week. One of 3 teams that actually had a 0-6 week, but that was CJM lagging, and CJM has been the player here for Lovedex. He's consistently played well. He's got 9 out of the 10 MVPs for his team.
He's a fiend. How's his net today, Yummy? Have you spoken to him? Send him a
He's
large file to see his download speed?
He's got a new modem. He's ordered it, ladies and gentlemen. He's in for the fight.
But is it tested?
It's tested.
You'd have to hope, but for a team like Lovedex, they're looking to cement something here. 3 very young and passionate players looking to put their stamp on this league. And honestly, they feel like they're in a similar position to Legacy where they could definitely make the run as well.
Yeah, they're a strong team, so it's going to be an interesting fact to see who's on today, because this whole tournament has been about who's playing well, because either team could take it. They both have a large, strong talent pool.
Yeah, both teams feel like they could go on and they could at least beat Retirement Home, but right now, the Love Decks are up against Legacy Esports, one of the most disciplined teams in the competition, the longest running organization. They've got a huge backing, and they're the team that sit there and practice every day. They're very regimented, and that's really been working in their favor. And the reason that we've been so surprised that they ended up falling so far down the ladder in the first place.
That's right. So it's really a battle of passion versus discipline. And Yummy, in that battle, which side do you favor?
Ooh. This is hard. I think this is a bit of a I've backed myself into a corner kind of thing. I backed both of these teams throughout the competition, but I really like the Love Decks cars. I really like their play, and I think CJM's going to do really well today. So I'm backing the Love Decks.
Big performance from CJM, Korea.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with the schemers, not the dreamers, and I think it's going to be Legacy that's going to take this one out.
Killing my dreams, bro.
Yeah, I think it'll be a case of if we see them on today, when they play well, they're fantastic. They had a beautiful off-season where they took out several first places. I think if we just see them do that again today, they could rise all the way to the top. I think they have a better chance of running it than Love Decks.
I mean, I talked to a bunch of the teams, and they're all scared of Legacy. They're scared of Legacy making a long run.
And they're right to be, so that's why I'm backing Legacy, and nothing else is going to stop me here today, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, both these teams, when they're on, we've said in the past that they can perform, and today, this is their moment to shine. This is their moment to put a stamp on the league. Bit of revenge on the side of Love Decks, but on Legacy, this discipline, is it strong enough to take down a driving passion like Love Decks?
Ooh. Only time will tell, Jakey boy. Only time will tell.
Well, time is here right now. Game number 1, starting our gauntlet final. Legacy taking on Love Decks in a best of 5, which will net a win or a loss for either side, respectively.
Yeah, Love Decks coming out strong. We're seeing the opportunities for CJM. He's the man we want to be watching from the Love Decks roster. He's an offensive powerhouse, and if the game is going to flip in their favor, it's going to be because of him.
Well, on the defensive, Legacy Esports have to be a little bit careful here, and Love Decks in game number 1. We all know it's a feel-out game as Delusion sets himself up midfield. Pass forward from Cyrix, goes over to Adzi, actually. CGM rotating back, and Delusion from this corner. It's setting up nicely for Legacy Esports, and they're back off the defense onto the offense, and it feels like they can hold.
Yeah, and Legacy, we're seeing them to get some bumps in as well, trying to disrupt the defense from the Love Decks side. But whether or not they can hold it against a big clear incoming is going to be an indicator of how the match will go.
Siki popping it up, looking for the backboard pressure, builds it up, and Siki still hanging around. In comes Cyrix as well. 3 members on defense from Love Decks, and that continues to happen as a minute has passed, and Legacy have taken full control of game 1 so far. Siki reaches up midfield again. Cyrix pulled back, but still going to be able to get this clear, get this shot over the top of him, in fact, and now Love Decks have some breathing room.
Yeah, CJM with that great read there. Seeing Cyrix was sitting back with full boost, seeing him pick it up as well, deciding to bait him forward and then using that to get this huge clear. We're seeing build the offense.
CJM doing exactly that. Adzi waiting back, the passing play. CJM sets it up. Adzi comes off the roof. There's the first shot. It goes in for the first goal of the gauntlet.
Yeah, Love Decks playing smart, which is the way they're coming ahead of Legacy here. They're baiting out the moves and noticing not only can they be quick off the ground and beat Legacy Esports, but sometimes you just stop and think.
Adzi with the angle, the positioning for Love Decks. That is the first shot, and the first one goes in. 3 minutes 30 remaining, game 1. This is the elimination time here, Korea. And every single game is going to build up the pressure of the series.
Yeah, and it's a strong start. Love Decks already got their confidence back. They're turning straight on to Legacy, who locked them out for the first minute of the last game. But if you can hold for a minute and not win it, well, you're in trouble.
Passionate players of Love Decks now back on the defensive. Delusion's up here as well. CGM, great save. Cyrix, a little bit too far to the left. You hate to see it. Siki trying to clean it up. Delusion there, but 2 defenders is all it takes for Love Decks to get that ball away.
Yeah, hopefully we're seeing the new Cyrix, not the old Cyrix. He used to have a lot of trouble with those shots, but he's turned it around. He's a lot more offensive player, so hopefully not falling to old habits.
Really close calls for Legacy Esports. Opens the field up to Love Decks once again. Cyrix taking the ball away, but does not have any boost, so CGM will be able to pass it. Monticona lets it go over the hood, sorry. The goal square now under pressure, but Legacy getting it out of there. See these dribbles coming through from Legacy again. Delusion looking to be in the attacking position so far in this game. CGM pushing the ball forward again. Legacy Esports. Anyone's game right now, but Adzi with an interesting touch will hit the backboard. Monticona goes up for the ball, but Cyrix there first. CGM pushing forward as well, but losing the ball. Legacy Esports now looking for the run. The one-on-one hits the backboard. Xerix is here, actually touched away. Siki looking to finish it and does.
The three-man pass play that's turned right back on the back of Legacy's Lovedex trying to do their own. It's great to see them slowly working together as a team. And Siki, Mechanical Fiend, always great to have as a third man to finish a shot.
Great to see this pressure coming from Legacy Esports. 1-1, 2 minutes 15 remaining. Game one is always a bit back and forth like this career, and especially with teams that are so closely matched. I feel like we'll see this a little bit more in the series further than game one.
Yeah, you can take a bit more stylistic risks within game one of a best of 5, whereas we had a series for the rest of the tournaments. The change in style is going to be reflected throughout the rest of the day.
Lovedex now looking to dribble up the field, and Delusion still in the defensive. Able to push the ball up. 2 minutes remaining in game number one, and Xerix and Siki hang around this left wing. The ball will actually just drop in front of net, but Xerix being very strong on the defensive. It's what we like to see out of him.
Yeah, dodging that bump coming out on the backboard where they're trying to get the pressure from Lovedex enabled him to get this clear, forcing it into Lovedex's side.
Connor unable to get the clear, and CJM, that's not going to do it either. Waiting down below the ball. Xerix now looking for the double tap and will not find it. Wasn't off the wall, but still. Center there. Legacy Esports still pushing up. A minute 30 remaining. Adzi dodging the bump, but it means he's not in defense. Xerix will score.
Yeah, you can see Lovedex starting to get a little bit overconfident there as they run forward for the cheat, opening themselves up. And you could tell that none of them were ready for the positioning, thinking they had that easy win getting into Legacy's half.
I mean, threatening the demo there, Korea. That was a great move from the side of Legacy Esports. 2-1, 1 minute 20 remaining. This is just flipped on its head.
Yeah, just turning right back around. Lovedex, we need to see a little bit more out of CJM. He is a man that can do monstrous things when he's running up on the solo plays, and more control of the midfield, especially when you have Monty Connor. It's something we need to see.
More opportunities opening up for Legacy. Ball centered once again, and through the air comes Xerix. Will steal the boost away as well. Lovedex not sure they're going to be able to continue with this clear. Set up for Xerix again. Now with the corner, now Delusion with the light touch. Shots coming out left, right, and center. Minute remaining. Lovedex now. Adzi goes up. Ball still there. Going to drop in front of net, and it slots in.
Adzi is getting some crazy shots from down high. Beautiful dunks, taking that to that 2 and 2 apiece in the nick of time as well.
Just good stuff from Lovedex, keeping up with the pace of Legacy. 45 seconds. A tied game to kick us off. That's kind of exciting for me. I know it is for you at home as well. Game one puts a start in this series. Let's see who can really kick it off. Lovedex now setting up for Monty Connor. This could be another one. The angle is perfect.
Yeah, Legacy defense not ready for that. Stuck too far out of the net. Lovedex open and willing to take the shot. You can tell both of them wanted it.
But the main thing is, Korea, it did go in.
Hey, as long as it works, right?
Yeah, Lovedex start off strong and now looking to finish strong. 40 seconds remaining. And really, can Legacy continue to apply this pressure to Lovedex? Illusion now. He's going to hit the backboard. Monty Connor unable to do anything with it. Siki setting it off the backboard as well. Ready to drop. Xerix is here. Backboard not touched again, but I think they've run out of boost, so they have to back away. Legacy looking for another route there. Xerix with the angle. Great save by CJM. We're not done because Legacy have still opened up this goal. But the defense from Lovedex is keeping them in this game one. It might have just cemented the game one for them, in fact. And they could be walking away with a win.
Yeah, Monty Connor stopping the final opportunity there on the other side of the pitch. Xerix waiting to receive a potential pass, but none able to come through.
Lovedex come out of the barrel, rolling in that last minute. You have to look at CJM. Has been doing so much as usual. But let's just take a breath. I mean, 6 saves is great, Korea, but then Adzi hitting the angles.
Yeah, you can see CJM being able to pull back and work the back of the net has allowed Adzi to come forward and get those crazy shots from above, particularly off the roof, that are just so difficult to save and can get straight past the defense.
Okay, let's take a step back again, because I told us to take a step back after we've taken a step forward.
Yeah, so we're back where we started.
So we're back to where we started. CJM, 6 saves. Like, that is incredible. That is an incredible score to have in one game.
Yeah, he's just strong wherever you put him. Typically, you see him out the front scoring a million goals, single-handedly just kind of plotting them away. But yeah, no, it seems like he can play the whole field, and it's doing them dividends.
But it was just the first game, and it is the first game of a best-of-5 series. They need 2 more to cement that. For Legacy Esports in the past, they've really warmed up to a series, so I think this could be quite interesting to see how they adapt in Game 2. And it's a very general thing to say, right?
Yep.
Like, you know, oh, let's see how they go in the series. But against Lovedex, who look like they've switched on, and CJM, who are having great net, by the way.
Makes all the difference.
This is the strongest form of Lovedex.
Yeah, and it's going to be a hard place for Legacy to kind of jump ahead and get that important win. I think Lovedex really need to be playing sharp if they want to make that final run, especially when you're like Tendermine's Darkside and Chiefs all just sitting comfortably at the top waiting for you. If you're not consistent, which you need to be, and today will be the test.
Well, game 2, that test continues. Lovedex up 1. Legacy actually going to play with Delusion a little bit. He uses the second jump. Impressive stuff to see, but Legacy need to secure a goal to kick things off. Game 2, eyes will be on Lovedex to do what they did. Once again, CJM off the backboard sets it up for Adzi. This is what we like to see, setting the ball up for Adzi. You know, he's a very dangerous threat in this side of the field. The ball up, Demolition on the side. Now, Lovedex pushing forward once again. Adzi's here. Misses the ball on the wall. CJM in defense. Kick that one away. But for Legacy Esports, this should be it. But missed by Delusion. Sirix now has to recover back, and Lovedex are pushing forward once again. Adzi pinches the ball against the wall. Legacy will still maintain.
Yeah, brave challenge there in the center of the field, but a bit slow off the touch. Didn't mean that whole situation was missed off the catalyst of less aggressive 50-50s.
Well, speaking of 50-50, looks like Legacy only just maintained the pole vote. 56% in supporting. And you can see that Lovedex starting to win over the crowd, especially holding off against Legacy. The attack continues. Legacy finally clearing it out of their side of the field, and Delusion is pushing up so much more in this series. Is it working out? Does it work against Lovedex? Seen so much strength from him in the defense.
Yeah, now we're seeing CJM trying to countering that play as he comes forward and opening up the net by doing the initial shots, which can then be finished by his teammates.
Looks like he still rotates back. Delusion now off the wall. It's going to be a big clear, supplemented by Siki, who aims the ball, the backboard, not touched. Siki will be followed up, but who was that save? I think it was Monty Connor. Really, expectations have never been greater for Legacy, but Lovedex are just shutting them down.
Yeah, and just in the nick of time as well. It was a beautiful saves coming through just in the nick of time. And with that, that's all you need.
It's got to now the ball in front of net. Delusion, soft clear. Adzi and Monty Connor will bump heads. I guess that's all part of the plan. CGM goes over the ball. Only one defender as Adzi now rotating back. Delusion gets a pass one, but Adzi in the nick of time, as Courier would like to say, Siki here off the corner. CJM, it's a straight clear all the way out, but interceptions coming through from Legacy Esports.
Yeah, Monty Connor had time to move up forward as Legacy tried to get a further play deeper into their half, but relatively confident, cheating forward, getting some more boost, and now, lo and behold, they're in Legacy.
Delusion playing with the ball here off the wall. Actually, we get the third touch, and finally Legacy look like they're able to clear, but it's just denied from Lovedex. That ball's going to be centered as well. Denied as Monty Connor comes in with the intercept, and the pressure is being layered, peppered, and salted by Lovedex. 2 minutes 10 remaining. Can Legacy finally get the clear? Looks like the answer is yes, but only for Monty Connor to say, get out of here.
Yeah, may have bought them enough time though. All of Legacy's team were completely out of boost, and it was just a lucky pickup by Siki that enabled them to get that clear. So this may save them.
Well, Delusion actually setting up the center there for Monty Connor. CJM coming in for the second off the corner. 3 members in defense. Bumped out of the way, and so many bumps we're seeing from both teams. These nerves really applying pressure, especially when you're fighting up the gauntlet, the start of series for many. But which team will it be? Lovedex now have 1:30 remaining to get this goal. That would really just supplement game 2. Defense comes through. Lovedex now pushing the ball out. CGM meets midair. Adzi now waiting for the ball to come down. Hits it up. Great clear, in fact. Bit of breathing room for Lovedex.
Yeah, now it's whether or not they can hold it, but the cheat forward has cost them as now the play has been pushed straight into their back, and Sirix with the score.
That was a beautiful upfield pass from Legacy Esports, and that is what we need to see for them to cement themselves in this series.
And that's how they've been scoring on Lovedex, catching them with their pants down after a huge clear as they cheat forward, and we're seeing Adzi once again stuck in that corner, looking around as the goal is scored behind him.
With that 1 goal lead, you got to start looking up for Legacy Esports, and that is going to give them so much of a confidence boost. Passing play again, Delusion there, waiting around the goal square, and Sirix hands it off to the right. CGM loses it. Control from that corner, not found. Delusion up again. Ball being centered, Sirix waiting. Monty Connor clears it over the side. Ball goes over the top. Lovedex anxious to score this equalizing goal, but at the moment doesn't look like they can. CGM doesn't really defend that well. Now Delusion gains full control. CJM again. The demolition as well. CGM maybe doesn't have enough boost. Siki tries to go over him. Sirix with a light touch, picks up the boost. Now the play is in effect for Lovedex. Delusion doesn't save it, and Adzi scores another.
What a heartbreaking moment there for Legacy. They got the demo, they'd opened up the nets, and all they needed was a third man follow-up, and they would have had the goals. And as a consequence, punished as Lovedex takes advantage of that, turns around and gets a goal of their own.
Lovedex now on a tricky slope because they have to maintain this equalizer, Courier. 30 seconds remaining, and Legacy are doing what they did with the first goal. A second one secured.
Yeah, completely opened up, but with only 30 seconds left on the clock, we have seen Lovedex turn it around incredibly fast, and whilst it was a great play, again, Lovedex too far forward.
Now Legacy lead by 1. And it feels like I'm just going in a circle here, Courier. Can Lovedex repeat? Can they get 25 seconds worth of pressure to get themselves another goal? Legacy might just equalize here in the best of 5 series. Adzi comes through. CJM looking for the fake, and I believe he does find it. A hit may have been better there. Back on the defensive, 13 seconds. You have to fear that Legacy might have done what it takes to get themselves a game to win.
Yeah, and we're seeing CJM here completely out of boost. May have done that huge play, but his teammates have to support their way back through, knowing that 2 of their players are now empty.
Ball still in the air. A bit of boost has been picked up, Monty Connor, but this should be dropped. And however, set up. Adzi off the side. They're going to let it drop, and Legacy Esports take a game.
Now we've got the equalizer. It has become a best of 3, and unlike the rest of the tournament so far, where it has been a series and every game counts, for this, it's just about winning the match. So you have to do everything you can to take advantage of that and pull forward.
And Lovedex a bit lower on the stats card this time. However, Legacy Esports coming through strong, and you have to put it towards Sirix again, who seems like he is a definite core member of this roster.
Yeah, he's got a lot more aggressive, moving forward occasionally to come and take these goals. But I think the big thing for me is we've just seen less domination of Lovedex going through the game. Just the number of shots they had in this game alone. CJM had more shots last game than his team did this one. And then similarly, Legacy didn't manage to save the game before, and now they actually have something on the scoreboard to reflect that. So you can kind of see they've got more control over the midfield, and as a consequence, they can actually pull the game.
But do you remember what we said? We said Legacy need time to warm up in the series. That was game 2. That was a much better result. Does it improve again game 3? Do we see, you know, like a change of play style? How do you adapt to this series if you're Lovedex?
Well, I think for Lovedex, they just need to regain control and just keep going for the bumps that we saw earlier. Try to take some of the players out of position and take advantage of the fact the rotations haven't been perfectly tight on Legacy's side.
Yep.
We have seen moments where they've ran into their own teammates. So if you can just take out one of them, as in preferably not the one of those 2 because they'll take themselves out, you may just get some free goals.
We've seen that a couple of times, though, on both sides. These bumps that are not really necessary and bumping a friendly. It's an issue because it is the pressure getting to them.
I think it's just moral support. They're just going in, giving themselves a cheeky cuddle.
Moral support.
Yeah, you know, a little cuddle, a bit of a high five, being like, "Yo, buddy, we got this."
There you go. Might score a goal off this, but you know what? It's definitely worth it. 1-1, game 3. As Courier said, we now limit ourselves to a best of 3 as 2 more wins for either team will put the nail in the coffin. Monty Connor missing the second touch. Doesn't matter. Legacy Esports now looking for the passing play. Siki there with the angle. No one in defense. Saved away Monty Connor in the nick of time. Passing forward, no one too. Adzi there. We'll have to rotate back. Siki as well. Look at the pressure. Delusion looking to finish it. A soft touch down that shot, not connecting to the net. Monty Connor for Adzi. Over to the corner. Siki here as well. CJM hanging back, looking for the clear, trying to reach the ball. Now, not even taking the challenge or the 50-50. Delusion there with the shot off the crossbar. Time and time again, Legacy Esports. Hitting this crossbar. Siki off the roof. The angle was right, but it was defended by Lovedex.
Yeah, just slightly too slow on the push. There we saw that the Lovedex defense had no boost, and they still managed to beat Legacy to the ball. If they just acted a little bit faster, that could have been a goal.
Siki setting it up again. Sirix now waiting. Left wing here. Ball not getting sent upfield. Interesting passes. Getting creative with angles. Sirix over the top. Delusion there. The ball trying to pinch its way into net. Legacy definitely looking control in game number 3. Lovedex struggling to get the ball out, but play, it's there. Adzi gets up to it. Delusion meets. CGM on the defense and trying to get it past him. Delusion has no defense. He's demoed. And that should hold something, but Legacy managed to slip it through anyway.
Yeah, Sirix coming through the hat trick across the 2 games, kind of leading his team from the front. You can tell he's hungry for it today.
Sirix absolutely having a great series here. And he has had a huge couple of weeks But this series, this will be the start of proving to everyone Xerax, Siki, and Delusion are a force to be reckoned with. So Siki does that. Looking for the double tap. Legacy again. Talked about a force, Courier. There it is.
Yeah, now we've seen each of them just in the short span of a couple of seconds working together to pull these goals. And again, Lovedex with that 2 men trying to go up for that defense, leaving themselves open for the follow-up off the backboard is a showcasing of how you're going to fall apart moving forward in the day if you can't clean that up.
2-0 game 3. Really intimidating right now from Legacy. Xerax looking to do it again. Off the backboard, Monty Connor under pressure as well. Lovedex is starting to get strangled out. And that angle off the wall was intimidating as well. You'd be looking at it and thinking it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger coming at you with 2 machine guns. You run. What do? You run. 3 minutes remaining, and Lovedex, they have nowhere to run.
Yeah, these guys are being like a predator, coming forward, taking down the Lovedex team with a huge advantage of that 2-0 lead. Legacy, strong defense last year, so if they can hold like they used to, they could just steal this game.
Moment. Feels like that's the case, Courier. Running out of boost there for Siki. We'll have to recoup. Xerax up. Over to the side. This is going to be angled in nicely around the corner, but Delusion a little bit low. Siki as well. They're holding on the defense, Courier, and like you were talking about, their strengths are really coming into play. Each and every game, they're getting better and better. You have to fear that if Legacy warm up to a series, what are they like? But Lovedex, unfortunate for CJM. Montigona tries to recover, but it's just not happening.
Yeah, and the clock's against them as well. They can't afford to be taking the opportunities, going for the shots. And if the time is just running down, they've got 2 goals to get with only 2 minutes left.
Time is the biggest factor right now for Lovedex. And it's getting smaller and smaller, as you said. Pressure still being laid on by Legacy, and getting the clear out seems to be the hardest thing for Lovedex right now. Siki stealing the ball away. Xerax comes up for it as well. Dodges their way from the demolition, but has no boost to really participate. The side wall now. Siki pushing it up. Delusion here as well. Legacy Esports trying to set themselves up for a shot. Minute 40 remaining. Xerax pushes it, wins it. Actually will find the ball here again. Comes around the corner, reads it so well, but just a little bit early on the touch. The camera has a moment because I think Siki was getting in position. Now pushing up Legacy Esports again. They're still playing with time, but they're playing also well with it.
Yeah, and they're playing relatively safe. See, we're seeing Xerax go back early rather than go up for the challenges. And then we're seeing that Legacy Esports coming forward with that second plan, knowing that they have the rear man in defense, enabling themselves not to take high risks, but lock down the 2-0 lead rather than try push it to a 3-0.
Adzi against the wall, against Siki. Lovedex still trying to set this up. Montigona stolen away. Defensive Legacy just looks too easy. Delusion will even set up a shot. No one's in net. It was a close one. Siki was trying to cement it. Xerax now off the backboard, taken away by Monty Connor, and defending that backboard has gotten a little bit better for Lovedex. But still, Legacy Esports, Siki with this. Delusion with that. The backboard, the double tap for Delusion. And that'll put the nail for game 3.
What a great positional read as well there by Delusion, knowing exactly where they're going to try clear to, so he was ready for the Devo to finish out the goal. Smart plays as well as mechanically gifted.
Legacy Esports have really switched on, and their discipline, their structure, it is coming into play here. Lovedex have something to prove, and they're looking for revenge on previous teams to show them that we are who we are. But Legacy Esports, with their discipline, they're looking to just slot another one through. The pressure that's being applied here, Lovedex will not be able to approach this net. 1 goal, that's what you want to see, get their morale boosted up for game 4, but Legacy will take the lead and have 1 game remaining to move up in the gauntlet. Delusion almost found himself another.
Yeah, what a way to go as well. 3 goals after coming off the back of a loss in the first game and a very tight second one. This could be the beginning of the snowball.
1 goal lead in game 1. We saw a bigger goal lead in game 2. And then in this one, it's just an absolute dominant performance. You'd have to say the way these games are trending, we're looking at Legacy taking the next one 5-0, 6-0, because they're just really rolling through this.
Yeah, they're just controlling the entire scope of the game. You look over, CJM, no shots. This guy was the player on Lovedex who was famous for having an insane number of shots taken, a great shot percentage as well, and now he's unable to get any, and it's not because his teammates are moving forward and aggressively taking them off him. or not giving the opportunity, and he's doing a lot more of assisting role like Torsos did with Jake when he came forward.
Yeah.
It's just he's not getting the opportunity to do anything, and their team's having a total of 1 shot.
So Legacy have that one game now. They're looking at match point in this series. The real question is whether Love Decks change, whether they make some drastic move in their last game, potentially, and take it to Game 5.
I think it's going to be hard for them. The fact that Legacy's starting to communicate well and work well as a team, they were more aggressive in the first half of the game than playing a lot more safely, still taking lots of shots but controlling from a little bit further back. Safer on the rotations means if they continue to do this, Love Decks could just be in a death spiral.
Well, Love Decks were, I guess, not the favorite at the start coming through. When Love Decks took Game 1, you heard that we had 56% on the polls, which means everyone decided to flippity-flop over to the other side. But 56%, I guarantee that's gone up. I guarantee that Legacy Esports have won the hearts of the people back. Legacy, one of the longest-standing oceanic organizations in esports.
And Xerix, one of the longest tournament players in the scene, going to pretty much every event.
That's right. Seen so much of him, and now might just see a little bit more. Game 4, Love Decks now facing match point. A big start like this, that's what is needed. Monty Connor hangs around, gets bumped out of the way, will not be able to do anything, and Siki steals the ball. Monty Connor repositioning it for CJM. Legacy Esports, can they continue to play the aggressive game? I believe so. Missing there from both. Delusion now waiting in front of net. Monty Connor setting it up again. He's going to reach up for the ball. Delusion over to Siki, looking for the pass. Nice touch. A demolition as well. Getting close to Legacy Esports. They will not find it just yet. Monty Connor over to Adzi. But meeting mid-air here, Korea. Challenges are not winning for Love Decks.
Now, they're not coming out on top, and when you're playing as a team that needs to be more aggressive, wants to be taking risks to try get ahead so you don't get locked out again, that is not good.
Great touch from Adzi. We'll set it up for Monty Connor. Siki's here as well. Gets to it first, and again, these mid-air competitions look like they're going to Legacy Esports. CJM looks to have one himself. Delusion Sirix bumped out of the way. Sirix over the top of one. Monty Connor reaches and ball taken away. Siki will play with time here. Still holding on. Love Decks looks like they're getting a lot more opportunities in Legacy's side.
Yeah, well, I think it's a case that Legacy's playing a lot slower. They're trying to feint out the Love Decks players, take them out, and then force them out of position before getting the clear and then running forward with their 3-man.
Great touch from Delusion. Still around the corner. Monty Connor loses the ball. Sirix now has to get past CJM. The pass over to Delusion. Siki's in the midfield, but the demolition again. Love Decks right back to where they want to be. The attack continues. 3 minutes 15. No goal scored just yet. And it feels like Love Decks have definitely got more room in this series. As I say that, Sirix right where he needs to be.
Yeah, taking advantage of the more room that they've found, taking the goal away from them too.
Oh, yeah.
Sirix is getting so many goals this series. He's on 4, I believe, now. That is a great change from what we saw last year.
It definitely is. 1-0 Legacy Esports looking down the barrel of a secure series. And Love Decks, what can they really do here? The aggression was great, but we're going to have to see more shots on goal. Sirix leaving the ball. Might open it up for Love Decks. Ball goes over the top. Siki's there. The first shot on net. Sirix back in defense. As he saves the ball away. The setup again for Adzi.
Yeah, Love Decks taking advantage of that monster bump to knock out the Legacy defense is the strategy I think they need to be taking advantage of as much as possible. When Legacy is beating you in rotations, if you can take their players out rather than try to compete with those feints, with those 50-50s that they have been not coming out on top as much as you'd like, got to pick an alternative strategy.
But now Love Decks are right back in the position they want to be. Over Legacy Esports with that backboard touch is going to go off the roof. Sirix with a nice second touch. Hits the crossbar again. A light touch from Delusion. Siki does not come in. Legacy Esports do not get that second goal. But now Love Decks have something to say. Adzi doing the exact same maneuver. Still pushing up. Love Decks, a bit of room. Monty Connor over the side now, losing the ball. 2:15. It was a close call from Legacy. Get that breathing room once again. Siki comes up. 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Adzi there. Over to Sirix. Siki misses. No, he doesn't. Actually missed that angle. Siki hits it nicely.
Yeah, sneaky little shot there, getting it straight past the Love Decks defense. I thought he'd be having enough time to come get it coming from rear post, but Monty Connor must have been able to boost.
Yeah, didn't actually see that, but it hit right in the front. Legacy Esports Staring down the barrel again. Lovedex just can't get a break.
Yeah, definitely it feels bad, man, for this team of passionate players that just really want to prove themselves against some of the bigger teams.
Siki looking for 3, sets it up nicely. CJM on the defense, who's just had such a cracker of a game so far. Cracker of a series, really. Lovedex might get taken out of the running here. Gauntlet ride for them comes to an end. The passion halted in its progress. Delusion over to Monticano. Monticano clears. Delusion now hanging around the corner and has no boost, so the defense going to be relied on. Cyrix doesn't really need help. At this point in time, Delusion now pushing up. Cyrix off this corner, hitting the ball. Adzi there as well. Demolition. Monticano hits it back up. Over to Adzi. The angle pure and sweet. But unfortunately, Lovedex got too much sugar in their coffee. Minute remaining. The angle from Cyrix. Nice again. Legacy Esports starting to put on the pain once more. 1 minute remaining. The next goal could secure it. Cyrix from the corner. Hits the angle. Defender. Monty Connor again. Siki now back into defense. CJM looking for the angle, but Delusion sends it away.
Yeah, Legacy, uncharacteristic offense there with all three of them pushing so far forward into Lovedex's goal that I was surprised that they actually went for it. Whilst they didn't lead to anything, it worked well.
Passing plays, getting a lot stronger from Legacy Esports. 35 seconds remaining, still leading by a goal. Lovedex now, their opportunity awaits. Siki here, the ball hitting back of net again. Sorry, the backboard and denied by Cyrix. When I said they can't get a break, I definitely meant it. Delusion now looking to play with time, leading by that 1 goal. To Legacy Esports knock another in. Lovedex find themselves 1 more play. It doesn't look like it. Legacy Esports may have just done what they need to do. Lovedex could be looking out here. Monticano with a great save, but it matters not. As Legacy Esports take themselves the win in the series. Lovedex will be knocked out here. The ball will hit the ground, or at least it'll try to. Maybe Hysteric's wrong. We don't know just yet. No, Hysteric's right for once. Legacy Esports 3-1. They move up the gauntlet.
Yeah, the dream for Cyrix may be coming true this year. No longer will he be sitting out to the sidelines watching from the 4th, 5th position. 6th in the case of last split. Maybe it's his time to shine. The Golden Boys of Delusion and Siki ride the coattails.
The Legacy Esports got better and better with each game in that series, and the last one was just a small rendition of how Lovedex were playing. They were close, but Legacy just looked that much stronger.
Lovedex weren't the same team at all. They were shut down completely that entire series, and it really felt like Legacy had control the entire time. CJM didn't even get his first shot until game number 4.
Yeah, they got destroyed.
Yeah, but it was really interesting when it came to Lovedex. CJM was pushed at the back. They pushed Adzi and Monty forward. They didn't have the same offensive power that they'd normally have. And I can't help to think, but maybe CJM was lagging again because his teammates weren't trusting him to be able to take hits.
He still had a great game 1 of saves. I mean, that was the highlight. And I always look at highlights first because 6 saves, it's still great. But like you said, Lovedex maybe not hitting the mark and a difference in playstyle.
For a team that just normally are really aggressive and get a lot of goals, they had the most goals for per game for any team, in essence, the 2nd most. And but they also had the 2nd most goals against outside of simple physics. So they're a team that normally you see a lot of goals for. These were low-scoring affair. And I have to say, I think we needed Cyrix to step up. And he really did today.
Yeah, I think bring back to what you were saying before as well in relation to the saves. Saves is normally a good indicator of playing not to lose rather than playing to win.
Yeah.
And the team that has the most saves at the end of a tournament, like looking back at Mastermind's Conspiracy, it's typically an indicator of the team that's going to come last in a tournament rather than the team that's going to come first.
Legacy Esports taking the win there. That's what they need. That is the momentum in the gauntlet. Going up next against Retirement Home, that was a strong Legacy and a strong Cyrix if I've ever seen one.
It's going to be interesting seeing Cyrix going up against Elusive again. It's going to be a bit of a blast from the past.
Yeah, they've got the chance of the climb. They're the team that everyone was scared of. They're the chance that can make it all the way.
Well, making it all the way is what Legacy Esports want to do. They climb up 1 in the gauntlet and will be taking on Retirement Home next. If you're interested in getting involved with Throwdown Esports and want to join some of our weekly cups, you can go to throwdownesports.com or even sign up for the OCE Championship there as well. We're going to have a short break, and when we return, Retirement Home taking on Legacy Esports.